Good evening. It's Engineer Nelson Aruma. I'm an African, precisely from Cameroon. I'm an ex-Polytechnic student, GBHS Bangui, GBHS Yaoundé, and a graduate from the Harvard of China, Tsinghua University. Now, today I want to grace your parlors, your living room, your schools, your classrooms with a little story. Now, recent cognitive research documents the extent to which students possess different kinds of minds. So they would learn, they will understand, they will remember, and they will perform in different ways. Now, if we go to school and we ask ourselves, why are we in school? We usually say we go to school to learn, and some will say we go to school to read, to write, or to learn how to read, or to learn how to write, and all that. But again, this is incomplete. Now, the object of learning, or we can say the object of knowledge, if I make a sentence, I know, what do you know? I would say I play football. So the object here is football. I eat apples. The object here is apples. But if we say I know, what do you know? I know how to read. I know how to write. Now, this is the common answers that you will get around schools. But I'm here today to tell us that that answer is incomplete, however precise or sure we have been. If I ask you what's the purpose of learning, today I will shock you that the answer is very, very, very easy. The object of knowledge is the world. So if you tell somebody, I know, what do you know? I know the world. Or if I go to school to read, I go to school to read about the world. If I go to school to learn how to write, I go to school to learn how to write about the world. If I go to school, I go to school to listen about the world. I go to school to smell the world. I go to school to feel the world, right? So the object of knowledge is the world. Now, any institution that is not modeling the entire world in the four corners of the classroom is not doing what institutions need to do. So oftentimes we teach children or children learn to read. Now, after you can read, of course, that's the tool of learning, like language. What's next? You have to now read to learn. So on the flip side is we learn to read. Afterwards, we read to learn. And it's not complete if you just say learn. What are you learning? You're learning about the world. But the world is not found in our schools. The world is not found at home. In fact, schools, home, they're just part of the world and a minuscule, a really, really tiny part of the world. So we go to school to learn to read, we learn to write, we learn to speak, we learn to listen. We learn arts, we learn science. But all this, remember, it is not about the classroom because the art and the science, they are outside, they're out there in the world. So we have to be very conscious of this. So again, at school, if you tell me your school is where you learn about the world, I will say no. Now, what are the different windows to the world? Number one, we got books. We got books here. Number one window to the world. So look how big and huge the world is, massive, gigantum. So if your school doesn't have a lot of books, 5,000, 10,000, 100,000 books, then you have very little of the world there is on campus. Then that is not a place. You could easily spend 18 years of your time wasting it away. And especially the 18 very vibrant years of your life from age 0 to 18. Very vital. You don't want to waste it. Then again, if your school fails you, you don't have a lot of books at school, the next best place is home because security first. A lot of kids are like in a cocoon, in a chrysalis. Like we protect them. We don't allow them to go out there and see the world for themselves. We keep them at home. So do you have 10,000 books at home? If no, then we can predict your future. You're going nowhere, absolutely nowhere. Because where are you going? Into the world. How much of it do you know? Well, 18 years just wasted like that, went by without books. First window to the world. Bring you the second window to the world. The second window to the world is, well, modeling the world at school. Do you have those role play? Do you have those kind of like make believe? Like you play a doctor, you play an engineer, or you play a scientist, you play an artist, right? If you had that, then that is you preparing yourself for the world. And then last but not least, we live in modern times. These are the 21st century years. And the number one window to the world, yes, I said books, but the number one and the only one is just one thing. And what's that answer? The internet, of course. Oh, what were you expecting? The internet. Because you see these physical books. If you can afford it, fine. Oh, hard copy. Oh my God, paperback. Ooh, these solid ones, this huge one here, solid backs. Great. But you know what is better than these physical books? A device, an iPad. Get me an iPad. An iPad. Don't get me. Fetch me an iPad there from in my study. Fetch me an iPad. An iPad. In an iPad, you can store 10,000 books. Oh my God, 100,000 books. A million, a billion, a trillion, a quadrillion, or quintillion, sextillion, septillion, octillion, nonillion. Do you want me to end? You can store as many books as their storage space in the iPad. It's a device. The internet, this device. Now, the internet, if you can store 1,000 books here, the internet will get you access to, oh my God, the billions, the trillions, the quintillions, the octillions of books in the World Wide Web. Access to other computers. What is the internet? The internet is a network of computers with a protocol that helps you to access them. So you have to subscribe to internet access. It could be broadband, it could be through mobile. You hotspot to your tablet. And then all computers are connected. When you watch something on your computer, probably you go the famous Google, you Google something, it lives on another computer and you are able to access it because that computer is connected to that network called internet. All right. So you need a device. Your phone. Billions of books. Your phone connected to the internet. So how much of the world do we read? Some people spend your time just getting themselves entertained. Oh yes, we love entertainment. A lot of our information comes to us through entertainment, but entertainment is just entertainment. There's what we call information. Data is there to entertain us. Data is there to inform us about the world. Those things that are factual about the world. Those things that stimulate the brain, get it to think, not stimulate what? The entertainment center of your mind. Not those things. Study. Those are things to inform us. So we read books to get entertained. We read books to be informed. And there's a third reason why we read books. Or we watch videos, or we listen to audios or music to be persuaded. So I can persuade you, like right now you listen to me, I'm persuading you to understand how to learn. And that we are not just learning, there's the object of learning is the world. So how much of the world do you know? Are we talking about the world of plants? Do you know wacky plants? Do you know plants that eat animals? Oh, the world of animals. How much do you know about the world of animals? From the macro, the big, the gigantum, the massive, the colossal, to the minuscule, the micro, the minute, the tiny. Different types of animals. They come in all shapes, all sizes, all colors. How much of the world do you know? That is the number one question we're ready to ask. And then how do we get these answers? We say one of the windows are books, if you have money to afford a lot of books. And sometimes you don't even take a lot of money. You need one of the most important things in the world, a mentor, somebody to show you the way. If you want to get to know about the world, read 10,000 books. If you want to get to know about the world, what is better than reading 10,000 books, traveling to 10,000 places, actually seeing it? You stay here, you read about America. You visit America, it's very different taste. You stay here, you read about Cameroon. You visit Cameroon, it's another taste. And what is better than reading 10,000 books and traveling to 10,000 places? Having someone to show you the way, a mentor. You take your hand. If you go to London, they'll tell you like, hey, don't go here, don't go there. You can go here, you can go there. And it saves you time, money, effort, and even your life. So having a mentor to show you the way is key to everything. And that's the pinnacle of getting to know about the world, learning about the world. Having someone show you the way, it will save you three things. Again, I'll repeat: money, time, and effort. Money, time, and effort. So what are we trying to do? We are Africans. I'm a Pan-African in the core, right here in my chest. I'm a Pan-African. I'm gracing your palos this time. I'm gracing your school. I'm gracing your offices, wherever you are tuning in to listen to me right now. Forgo everything. Pause, take a pause and listen. Not just hear me, listen attentively. This is Africa. This is this continent, Africa. Who is going to change this continent? Africans. Africans are going to change this continent. Enough trying to tell people to respect us. Respect us, we are also humans. No. We have to respect ourselves. And do you know the only way you respect yourself is when you turn inward and ask yourself, how much of myself is respected by myself? Now, the respect where it is mutual, where you have to respect every human being, of course, we have to we have to demand of the world to respect us, because we are all made of the same word, flesh and blood. But first, how much of us, ourselves, how much of us commands respect from us? This is where we come in as mentors. This Africa is going to be changed by Africans. We are holding the line for the next generation. We call them the future. And we tell ourselves, we are what? We are the present, we are not the present. They are the future. The present is gone, gone, gone. Look at this wide continent. There is so much we are expecting from the continent. We want to call ourselves a new name, the mentors. The mentors. We're going to make sure that our kids are not as blind as we were when we were kids. So again, what is the role we're going to play? First, we're going to make sure that we avail 10,000 books to our kids. Today, on average, a 7-year-old, Glory Oluwatosin from Nigeria, living in Derby, London, formerly living in China, Shenzhen, China, has been studying with me as her mentor for over 3 years, since she was 4, 5, 6, 7. Now over 3.5 years. She's 7 today. She's read over 3,000 books because I availed those books to her. How did I do that? I subscribed in a partnership in one of the best libraries on earth, where they have assembled books, 29 reading levels, called Kids A to Z. You Google it, Kids A Z. And you get there, you download the app, and you see a place where you can put the teacher's name. You put my name, Nelly D, Nellyd, and you see what a library means. Now, I could easily say, hey, Let's transform every home, every parlor in Africa to a physical library where you have 10,000 books at home, not at school, at home. Yes, Africans are poor. Now, we are not poor. Let me tell you something about Africans. We are one of the richest places on earth. Now, raw materials, all that, brains, all that. Money, yes, we are rich. If you see how we enjoy life as Africans, Africans can drink, Africans can throw party. Africans are the life of a party. Why? Because we can easily buy drinks, we can easily buy food. Can we easily buy books around Africa? Now, if you go after every house in Africa, after every block, can you find a bookstore, a library? Can you find 100 books for a 2-year-old in a library? Can you even see the library after every 3 blocks? In most African countries, what you find, oh my God, I'm an African. And I'm here honestly telling you also an African. If you find it, take a picture and send to me. Prove me wrong. What you will find in African countries are beer parlors. We intoxicate ourselves, the youths, even the children. You find them in the places where they ought not to be. You should find kids at home. You should find kids at home doing what? Reading. Doing what? Conducting experiment. Doing what? Conducting engineering processes. Creating things. Oh yes, recently, I'm in Yaoundé, the capital of Cameroon, currently. And I have a bunch of kids here, about 30 of them, learning engineering. You know the question I asked my kid? Use your thumb and your index finger to estimate 1 centimeter. Estimate the gap between your thumb and your index finger to estimate 1 centimeter. You don't want to know. You don't want to know what the answer was. People use their hand. They did not even know their thumb or their index finger. Of course, we are appropriating the English language, using it as our mode of learning. In my country, Cameroon, once upon a time, in the early 20th century, we were using our own languages until what you normally call colonial masters. But they were not masters. These were people that came here to corrupt us. They made us abandon our languages. They created accreditation system where if you don't study in their language, you will not work in the government that they created and here administering their fellow humans. And you're proud of that history. What an aberration. What a disgrace that fellow humans will be proud to conquer and lead other humans. Lead them to where? To abandon themselves, to abandon their language, to abandon their culture, to abandon their God. Keep that aside. We are here talking about Africans. We have to be able to stop intoxicating the future, the kids, the youths. They watch their parents drinking. What do you expect the kids to do? If they watch the parents drinking every day, they say, what? That's the legacy. But we are coming from a very rich master apprentices history of Black people, where a blacksmith, an ironsmith, a goldsmith will have kids of varying ages learning, taking up apprenticeship at the shop. And that history is slowly fading away. Our African languages slowly fading away. Parents are busy trying to chase change, chase value that does not exist, paperweight, chasing these values and not having enough time to educate the children, to educate the future, to even teach the kids to speak our African languages. Our languages are evaporating. Now, what are we doing to save the languages in Cameroon? Very soon, not too far from now, as you're listening to me, in about 2 months, you'll be tuning on our YouTube page where you can find your language there, 100 words, number words in your African language, not dialects. We have languages. The Oroko language, spoken by the Prime Minister here in Cameroon, the Beti language, the Eton language, the Bakweri language, the Bamleke language, the Meta language, the Mankon language, the Bafut language, the Fufube language, the Hausa language, all the different languages. I'm sorry if I didn't mention yours. The Twi language in Ghana, Swahili language, Lingala, the Xhosa language, Xhosa language, the Zulu language, and the different languages across the 54 nation states in Africa. You find it on the YouTube channel. So that we can compete. Why our kids, they stay in front of the idiot box. Parents don't want to spend time with the kids. They will bribe the kids with some device or leave them in front of the idiot box. That's the TV, the idiot box to brainwash the kids. We want to compete with that idiot box so that we'll avail you resources. You can go there since you're busy to teach your kids Bableke. You're busy to teach your kids Oroko. They can go on the YouTube page and they can learn some 100 words about furnitures at home in your language. Help us build one for your language. My technician will be busy putting things together. We want to hold the line. We want to say no, never again. Never again will African kids live on earth here and they lose when it comes to dignity to other people. In China, you study physics in Chinese. You study chemistry in Chinese. You study math in Chinese. Why am I saying that? Because I did that some 20-something years ago. I studied physics, chemistry in Chinese. But I never did that in Oroko language. What a travesty. What an aberration to myself that I will be here living on planet Earth at this ripe age as an adult. And then I will say, well, we don't have it. No. We got to do something about it. As an engineer, we got to do something about it. So this is a rising movement across Africa. I know we have been doing a lot. Our nation states, they have been conceiving a lot of things. But again, even when it comes to leaders, people older than me, they can only go as far as their eyes have seen. So again, amongst the different leaders in the different sphere of society, there needs to be this critical mass that has to rise up. A critical mass to say enough is enough. It's about time we hold the line and hold it where it has to be held. Right there to change the future of our kids. First, availing them with a lot of books, a lot of material. So learn about the whole world, the world of culture, the world of science, the world of engineering, the world of arts. Now, don't send your kids to school to learn arts and not science. Don't send your kids to school to learn science and not art. I have an analogy for you, an anecdote. If you make a car, it takes you from A to B. Another person makes a car, it takes you from A to B. They both do that, probably the same speed. Why is it one car is more expensive than the other? Art. And to make a car, you need science. The transmission engine, what type of engine are you going to use? Is it a petrol engine, a diesel engine? What type of fuel and gas mixture, carburetor you're going to use? All that is science, the knowledge of science, mechanical engineering. Oh, yes. Some physics in there, some chemistry in there. Combustion, equation. What you say, you take fuel plus oxygen, fire. And fire means what? Heat, energy. And that is the engine of a car. Fuel and energy, just burning, ordinary burning. That's what happens in the engine of the car. But how would a kid understand this? By learning chemistry, learning science in school. Now you make your car, your engine is working, everything, you build your car, your chassis, everything, you construct the whole thing. What else? How much do you sell that car? It takes you from A to B. Different cars out there, different prices. Art. You understand colors? Do you understand shapes? Do you understand size? Can you dream and make it happen in imagination? Can you draw? Can you paint? Art. So if your kid goes to school to learn only science, they can't create. They can't be the Steve Jobs. All those great artists. Ross. In Africa here, we have writers. They've written about science, written about art, written about life, written about so many aspects. The object of learning is the world. You have to know the world in its science form, in its arts form, astrology, agriculture, science, innovation, technology, in the various facets of the world. We have to avail resources to our children. And today, it could be as expensive as you buying a lot of books, which you should do. Every week, instead of buying carbonated drinks, you buy books, one. 2, 3. In a year, you find yourself with close to 1,000 books. 3 books a day, you find yourself close to 1,000 books. A year, even over 1,000 books. What next? Avail them some internet at home. Share even with a neighbor. Or just limit your consumption of comedy or movie on your phone and hotspot. Just 5 megabytes a day. 5 megabytes will be less than 100 francs CFA in Cameroon. Avail the internet resources to your children, and they can go online and read 10,000 books. Download the app Kids A to Z. Get in there. They'll say teacher's name, Nellyd, and you click Yaoundé, Morari Yaoundé. Free for you to access books in science, books in English, library in French, 29 reading levels there for you. You want to have an excuse that you don't have money to get books? Excuse? This is not a generation for excuses. So watch out. Several of these videos will be gracing your parlor. The YouTube channel is called Morari Enterprises. Morari means teacher in the Oracle language, the language that the Prime Minister speaks, the language that the governor of Yaoundé speaks, the language that the rector of the University of Boya speaks, the Oracle language of Cameroon. Not dialect, language, because that is what we are embarking on, reviving. Because you will see very little tiny places on earth. They have the dignity of using their language in scholarship to pursue education in their language. We're going to be reviving that in Africa across the board. It's already happening in other countries where kids study in the first few years of their scholarship in the language, in Lingala, in Swahili, in Twi, in Ghana. We're going to revive that in our own parts, all across the continent. We have young Africans willing and ready to put plans in action. And we have our elders willing to apply their wisdom and direct our path. It takes the wisdom of the elders and young people's energy to bring the kind of change we can dream of. Thank you, and I'll be seeing you very, very soon again. My number is +237 681 446572. You can reach me on WhatsApp. +237 681 446572. In China, you can reach me on WeChat, Nelly_D, Nelly_D. That's my WeChat handle. You can find me on Facebook. The absence of Facebook around my sphere has given me a lot of time to do a lot of research, and I'll be bringing some of those research in your doorsteps. In Morari way, Morari means teacher in the Oracle language. It means teacher. It also means food. Food to the mind is knowledge. We have the best way to approach mathematics, the Morari way, from early education. Not advanced mathematics, yes. I can teach calculus, I can teach stochastic processes and all that, but it starts from young, early education. That's where we have our expertise. So that once kids, they have the arithmetic settled, before you get to Form 1, you have your fraction, percentages, and decimals settled. I mean, 360-degree view on that. Don't just say it's very easy fraction. 360-degree view on that. I've benchmarked fraction to kids right up to lower 6th. That is the 11th grade, and they failed. And the question is, what is half percent to fraction? Change half percent to fraction. A lot of kids struggle with that, even in the later stages of our secondary education. So again, we have ways to learn English, 16 tenses in English. Some people don't know how many tenses there are in English. Ways to learn French, ways to learn Spanish, ways to learn. Hold his mouth, hold his mouth, hold his mouth, hold his mouth. That young man likes to talk. All right, so ways to do all that. Ways to learn, approaches to learn about the world of languages, the world of math, the world of engineering, the world of programming, how to do that before you turn 11. We are teaching kids programming before they turn 11, engineering before they turn 11, languages before they turn 11, math before they turn 11. We have the Morari approach. Morari means teacher in the Roko language. What is teacher in your language? Then that is what we are doing in all of our beautiful African language. What is teacher in your language? That is what we are doing. This is a teacher segment. We are the educators. We are the experts. We're holding that line. So if you are out there an educator, you're out there a teacher, engineering skills, language skills, and all that, contact us, the Morari Enterprises platform, so that we can platform you, so that our kids will be able to learn from you. We want to build the largest repertoire, the largest repository of learning as Africans for posterity's sake, before the world walks by and leave us behind. Africans for Africans. We have to lead the change we want to see. It's been a pleasure, but before I leave you, some few shares. So a friend of mine just gave me a good idea that we should avail some parents with some devices. But it's an open market out there. Go and get yourself a device and give us a call. Our number is down here. And we can come and help install some of the apps, learning apps, a lot of paid learning apps. A lot of people struggle to get learning apps. So get yourself a tablet. And if you want us to get you an iPad, because most of our paid apps are on the iPad. You have apps worth over $1 million. We can transfer those apps to you, and you only need to pay for the internet and the time of the person who is doing the job. So we're here to make sure that every Cameroonian that we call Lambda, every family can have access to these learning materials. So buy your tablets. If you want us to help, we can also help you. Buy a laptop for you might also need a tablet plus the laptop, especially for kids above 9. If you want to program, make some games using Scratch and all that, we can avail you a lot of books. And in the laptop, we can also put our library. There's a USB stick. We call that a Morari e-library. So we can give you a USB stick with over 4,000 books in English and over 1,000 books in French, 29 reading level. Every kid at every age, they'll have more than 50 books at their age. So that is what we call a real library, not Romeo and Juliet, where everybody at home reads one Romeo and Juliet. What about the kids who don't understand? So we have books from 2 years old right up to 18-year-olds, and books that will inform you, facts, plants, animals, science, all that, and books that will entertain you, fairy tales, fiction books, and books that will persuade you, books about business, books about interest, hobbies, travel, and all that. Books about famous people, landmarks, transportation, home, friendship, a lot of books, different topics. Real general knowledge, okay? Not who discovered a zero to India, not some mumbo jumbo about the past of Africa, how some people were like fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. We still regurgitate the same, can I curse here? BS, you know the meaning of that. So we don't want to do that. We want to really read books about the world, to learn the world, our own world. Fishing here in Africa, agriculture here in Africa, transformation here in Africa. We want to read some of those books. Why not? We can also learn from other parts of the world. Right. So again, this is something I say, let me share with you. The second thing I will share with you is, let me leave you with one other thing too. Let me see. I have something here. Yes, probably just some general knowledge things. If you are a center of learning, you have kids that are under your mentorship. You're a school, an orphanage, a community development organization, a company who wants to give back to the society, like you want to give a lab to a high school. You are an alumni group. You want to give back to your alma mater, right? That's what we should be doing, alumni groups, giving back to your alma mater, help them build some libraries, afford certain things, because you've been abroad, you've been out there, you know some of these things. So again, our goal is to avail families with online educational platforms that we develop, we buy, and to teach ICT in a very fun way that you can learn on your own. You buy your own laptop and then you can learn on your own. We have books like how to learn Microsoft Word, how to learn Microsoft Excel. You get some of these books in our USB drives and you teach yourself at home. That money that you can go somewhere and waste your time, get that money and buy yourself a device to learn something, learn in a practical way. Then take your laptop. If you need assistance, then you can go to a learning center where they teach you ICT and they teach you how to use your own device. And if you do that for like a few short weeks, you can go back home and you follow some books, you go on the internet and you learn. Because again, we sometimes have a little money, like 90,000 francs, we waste them learning at a center. At the end of the day, we don't even have a device to practice at home. So again, the cycle of learning is learn, understand, remember, and practice. Again, learn, understand, remember, and practice. So ensure that you have a device to practice on, and then you can get a mentor, get a school that is a good mentor, that they are not there to waste your 90,000 francs. They are there to make sure that you learn as much as possible and within a short time frame. Because you have three things that you have to maximize: your money, your time, your effort. So don't get wrong mentors. That's the warning. If you are a place where you get people to come and pay money to learn, please be honest. Don't be Africans who are chasing money, scammers out there. Please, we have a fragile populace. Go there to real help and make a difference in the society. So we have educational tools. You can get us. You can grow you can get in touch with us for educational tools. You can get in touch with us. Education tools means hardware, sports equipment across the board, microscope, telescope, a whole lab, electronics lab, electrical labs, construction lab, everything. We can get it for you for the best price that you will see with your eyes. Now, we can also help grow curriculum. If you're a school, you want to grow your curriculum, you want to integrate it, you want to get an international curriculum in your place for nothing, less than nothing. So people will feel like to integrate the best of the best, you need a fortune so that your school will start tasking 5 million for tuition, 8 million for tuition. No, you still can task parents 100,000 for tuition, 50,000 for tuition, and you still provide them with world-class education. I was in Limbe the other day training teachers. So again, we offer all those services on how to use modern educational tools. Education phase is changing. We are in a global system today. Therefore, you have to model the whole wide world in your classroom. So you need tools. And do you have a mentor that can help you get tools? You are looking at one and you are looking at so many others. COVID-19 came and paralyzed education in many parts of the world, except places where they could easily move all their kids online. As a CEO of Mayflower Education in China, an education firm in Beijing, China, also co-founder of the Scholarship Club in Los Angeles, we moved all of our students online, and COVID was an inexistent non-event to us per education. Yes, people died and some others suffering debilitating loss in a lot of families. But when it comes to my firm as an educator, we had no problem in our company. We moved all of our students online. So we'll also be helping a lot of institutions in Cameroon, in Africa, move their infrastructure online so that any event like pandemic will not create much impact, just a little impact. Technology. Tomorrow's innovators, we want to create them. Kids here, they will use cardboard to make their shoes, and they made a smart dustbin. A smart dustbin, if you connect it to power, and using the ultrasonic sensor, it senses the presence of human. Then the lid of the dustbin will open. You throw your litter in, and then it will close while you're leaving. Kids made this. Kids, I'm talking about kids, 11-year-old, 12-year-old. They created this here after learning mechatronics with us. So that's what we're trying to do. Take impossible things and make it possible, because this brain, the brain of an African, is genius. It's about time we believe in ourselves. So there will be more that we'll be gracing your parlor with as time goes on. Thank you very much again. Thank you very much. These are some of the kids that we train. See them here. As early as this is just amongst us. This is a little kid From this age, she was 4, and we're doing some acid-based test using home things you can find around the home. Red cabbage as an indicator, not litmus paper. And then we have different solutions, different juice around the place, and we went to detergent. Detergent is a base, and then a citrus juice, orange juice, lemon juice. Those are acids. So if you get your red cabbage, grind it, and then use a sieve, a piece of cloth, pour water there, and then have the pure liquid from it, no impurities. You can use that as an indicator. You can try that at home. So again, we'll be having some of these things on our YouTube channel. Did I remind you about that? Morari Enterprises. Morari, then Enterprises. That's a YouTube page. We'll be uploading a lot of things, especially African language. What makes a resilient student? We have that. General education proficiency, reading, writing, math. Those are the basic literacy and numeracy. Critical thinking and problem solving. Yes. Tech literacy, technology, tech literacy. Using a computer, going around the internet, browsing on learning platforms, know how to search things, know how to crop an image from online, know how to download a video from online. That is what we mean by tech literacy. Know how to do graphics stuff, know how to build a website, know how to edit a movie. That's what we call tech literacy. Self-sufficiency. You know what ticks, what makes you happy, what makes you sad. You're a self-learner. You can learn on your own. Not always looking for somewhere for your parents to go and pay. You can learn on your own. Save some money. Save a lot of effort. Save a lot of time. All right. Confidence and adaptability. Public speaking skills. Right. We call that performing arts. In the future can be, who knows, an actor, an actress, right, or a leader in global institution, or you create your own company. Be able to speak in public. To be able to adapt and lead your organization. Global awareness, reading a lot of books to know the world, not just your own little world. So that is what makes a resilient student. Multiple intelligences. We have to be word smart, number smart. We have to be logic smart. We have to be music smart. We have to be picture smart. We have to be God smart. We have to be what? Self smart, people smart, having empathy towards each other. We have to be what again? Nature smart. You have to know the nature, the natural world around you. So those are different types of intelligences: linguistic intelligence, logical, mathematical intelligence, musical intelligence, spatial or visual intelligence, self-intelligence called intrapersonal intelligence, interpersonal intelligence, people smart, naturalist intelligence, existential intelligence, God smart. So those are different angles of our mind. We probe here, we use it to get to know about the world. We use the multiple intelligence here to get to know about the world. Digital literacy, early education. Early education. Kids should know how to read from 4. And we've created charts, 208 building blocks to teach kids how to read. Next, I'll be bringing that up to you. You can check our YouTube page to see some of these things. The Morari advantage, what we bring, what we promote, what we bring to your school. Fully integrated curriculum, specialized supplemental programs, expert consulting and support, innovative e-learning technology. What we bring to your classroom, a lot of those. What we bring to your home, a customized education plan. If your teacher is teaching tenses and miss some aspects of that tenses, you will have all the notes, all the lessons and skill practice at home on tenses, so that the poor teacher probably, or your kid was sick and missed some classes. So how do you catch up? So we are like a glass, and instead of pouring water in the glass so that we go from level 1, level of water, level 2, level of water, level 3, level of water, a lot of us, we're like a glass filled with corn, grains of corn. So there's a lot of gaps. So we might be at level 6, but we have gaps right from level 1, a lot of these gaps. So we'll pour water in your cup of corn so that now you have a uniform level, and we sieve the corn out so that you'll be uniform like water, homogeneous, proper level. So we do that by availing all lesson notes at school and skill practice at home with an education plan. Comprehensive. Contact us and you get that. Innovative learning strategies. Oh yes, how to learn math, how to learn English, how to read and write in 1 week. We all these things will be coming on our YouTube channel. But if you want it before then contact us, right? So our success story, this is Angwi. Angwi, her internet name is called African Phoenix. On our online library, she has read 932 books, you can verify, but she's not the greatest. There's a little kid, over 2,000 books, 7-year-old. Angwi is now almost 15, and she'll be attending the Girls for Tech. She's done an internship in France in Mercedes office in France and stuff. So she's been overseas because of her excellent engineering and tech skills. So this is Sunshine Girl, and she started her chemistry evolution as a red cabbage liquid. We're doing that project there, and this is some 7 years ago, right? This is her again, probably much older. And this is a team of young engineers. Some of them now are in high school. Some of them are in the university already. And so you have questions for us. But like I said, again, you can reach me at +237, WhatsApp +237 681 446572. On WeChat, Nelly_D. I bid you adieu. Like we say, au revoir. See you later. Hasta luego. In Chinese, zaijian. And in Oroco language, eforo. This has been a good time with you, and see you soon.